Freax. Oh, why'd you go and say that? Twitter Freax. The website was a mistake, yeah. Twitter Freax.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Twitter Freaks. If you can see Yu-Gi-Oh! In the background, that's because we started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Again on this Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel. Ugh! But don't worry, you won't have to stand in the glow of the Season 38 Diamond 4 logo for long, because it's time for Twitter Freaks. Here we go. First and foremost, the people of recreational crack smokers do not mess around, Ket. This is a crack-only group. If you want to post your little goo-goo gaga Bushwick drugs, go to Reddit. Agreed. All right. Well, I guess I want to preface this week by saying, our good friend LENIN, friend of the channel LENIN, once said, there are decades in which, chudra, nothing ever happens, and there are weeks in which decades happen, and boy, are we living through one of those weeks. I guess we probably should talk about the collapse of the South Korean government, the collapse of the French government, the collapse of the Assad regime. But before we do any of that, let's talk about something more important than all of it, which is the VReverie closer. So just so you guys know, VReverie is one of the large VTuber organizations, and it is with a heavy heart we announce the closure of it effective December 3rd, 2024. We thank you for supporting our talent. The decision was not made lightly. We are grateful for the incredible journey we've shared with all of you. While it's come to an end, this is not a farewell for some of our talents. We will facilitate the transition. All we got to say is, 07 Nova, congratulations on getting out. One of those scenarios where I don't want to speculate, and I know it'd be gauche to ask her, but boy, oh boy, you can't help but see someone exit an organization and become indie, and then a month later the organization completely collapse and starts scratching your head. I've decided Nova's my Oshi. I love her fucking work. Best of luck to her. We'll probably have her on the channel in the near future as well. You all seemed to enjoy that DDM with her. Maybe we will we'll get her doing something stupid again. Next up. I can't believe I had to read this shit. Ugh. Most leftists are 95 IQ tops, so they hear word salad like olfactory ethics and clap like seals. We're still doing olfactory ethics. Meanwhile, some right-wing anon. A young man is almost always young, but a baby is not merely young, but also something primordial, ancient, barbaric, very old, closer to a Mesopotamian idol than a modern college student. Babies speak in old tongues. It is the infant that is God, and the father that is his son. Oh, brother! You all are coming to this? Jesus! It's like finding a gooner who only jacks off to hentai made by an AI. What do you mean this is the right-wing intellectual anon that's got your dick hard and your brain wet? Disgusting! Oh, babies are not only young, but also come from a deep, ancient, natural tradition. Oh, yeah, big fucking surprise. No, you don't understand. This baby is so imbued with the essence of generations that I'm going to commit a crime against comma splices here in this tweet to explain it to you. He's closer to a Mesopotamian idol, the oldest thing I can think of, so I threw it in there, than a modern college student. The infant is God, and the father is his son. Oh my God, what a crazy role reversal. Very subversive. Ah, man, I don't know. It's kind of funny when English teachers say stuff like, I can tell you read the book, or I can tell when people, yeah, okay, CJ is posting the, you kneel before my throne unaware it was born of lies. This is the same cadence as the Tumblr posts that write like the most disgusting, insipid purple prose you've ever heard, and then they're like, oh my God, that was so meaningful. This is nothing. Please, people, start reading. Start reading stuff that challenges you. I'm begging you. I'm not saying everyone has to read Infinite Jest, but some of you do. Ugh. Next up. Trump selling perfume for $1.99. Neat. Does anyone know where I can learn more about the politics of smell? No human has ever been more vindicated than olfactory ethics woman. Next up. I farted so loudly at my almost empty gym today while struggling with the last rep of my bench press, people turned around and for real looked at the fat dude minding his business. I had to actually say, my bad, so people didn't think it was him. Olfactory Alex. Oh my god, it's so funny. Holy shit. Oh my god. Ay, ay, ay. I love that she looks like just a little smug in this picture, so it always seems like an own when you post the picture. All right, let's keep going. Okay, we should talk about the guy. So, this past weekend, we talked about it a little on Wednesday for not a bonus Freax, but just a little Freax addendum that won't be going up on YouTube. But this past Wednesday, the UnitedHealthcare CEO was viciously shot down in the street. Now, I'm the first to say that on this channel, we do not condone acts of political violence. And my lawyers have advised me not to follow up the next sentence with the word but. Let's see how people are taking it. For those of you who are unfamiliar, UnitedHealthcare is one of the most evil organizations in the history of time, making infinity dollars off of human misery. They are one of the most frequently denied claims healthcare, health insurance companies in the world. Let's just see what's going on here. So this comes from Ben Shapino, friend of the channel. He says, the evil revolutionary left cheers murder. And then he has a 49-minute video where he talks about, where he gets his eyebrows done, I guess. What the hell is he doing to his eyebrows? They're like but they're clearly being filled in. Your beard is that patchy and you want us to believe your eyebrows are that thick? He's doing the fooly cooly eyebrows, right? Am I crazy? Anyway. Scroll down. He's like, oh, the loony left is being so mean in the wake of this this murder. Have they no heart? Unlike, Rittenhouse and all the others. But let's just check the comments here. It's not left or right. It's not black or white. It's rich versus poor. We all disagree. Red and blue. We are united as one in this. I'm not buying this left versus right shit anymore, Ben. I want health care for my family. Just because the left likes something doesn't mean you have to hate it. Wake up and read the room. As a conservative, I'm glad the left and right united against the common enemy. Let's hope this becomes a trend, allegedly. Oh, my God. Fact, both left and right are cheering. We don't care about your feelings. Oh, my God. There was one of these that I think has fallen all the way down the comment section, but it said something like, I just realized your entire business model requires us to hate each other. It's like, oh, we're close. We're close, baby. It's happening. Anyway, hot damn, he's dead all right. This morning, a masked gunman lay in wait and shot UnitedHealthcare CEO Bry Ass Thompson, put that hot slut right tight into the ER and then even deeper into a tight, wet Grussy where he'll stop on his way to hell. Maybe his care was delayed due to a pre-existing condition. Send this to 10 of your sluttiest emergency contacts who would shoot a CEO for you and see how many you get back. To the rich. Whoa. All right, moving on. I always send these to everyone every time any event happens, good or bad, and it irritates them all. Immediate reactions. My girlfriend works in a pharmacy. They are seeing 0 denied claims this morning, where usually close to half are denied or requiring prior authorization. Everything is going through today. A bunch of other health insurance organizations started taking down their CEO pages from both their websites and getting them requested for deletion on Wikipedia. They don't want the names out there. So unfortunately, they then showed a picture of the guy. I don't have the picture on me, but it turns out he's attractive. And they found that he had hopped on a bike, gone to a subway to Port Authority, and jumped onto a bus. They had no idea where he was, but this is how they were looking for him in Central Park. Let's just watch this together. Oh, the music's not playing. Oh, they must have cut the audio for this Fox segment. Well, don't worry. I think I have something that might help. Oh, they're trying. Oh, they're trying. They're not trying too hard. They're really not. I mean, They're not even like taking their hands out of their pockets. Like why are there 90 of them and they're just taking a stroll? Is there a reason they're not like wrist deep in the bushes and stuff? They're literally maybe. First guy who's even touched the bushes, he's like, that's probably enough looking. I don't see shit. Moving on. Like we're having a manhunt described as a stroll through the park. I do appreciate that we pay these guys $11 billion in taxpayer money. It's great. He's not in that bush. They did find him. Unfortunately, he didn't get away with it. You can see his name trending. He stopped at a McDonald's. And the fucking cashier ratted him out. They were like, oh, he looks like the guy who shot the CEO. He's in PA, I think, right now. Again, we don't know if this is really the guy, but it all kind of lines up. His name's Luigi Mangione, which sounds like a joke name you would make up to make fun of an Italian, right? We have just found out so many funny ass things about this guy in the last 15 minutes. My favorite is this. They found his senior yearbook page, and let's check out his senior yearbook quote together. Another day, another play. Donkey. How how interesting. His name is really Luigi's Mansion. It is. This isn't him. He was helping me fix my tire last Wednesday. True. Does anyone have his Goodreads? They found out that he's a huge fan of Charlie and Carly Rae Jepsen. They found out that he has basically in the last 2 years started reading a bunch of books with titles like How the Healthcare Industry is Robbing You. He was a bug fixer for Civ 6, yeah. And this was a kind of he also read Infinite Jest, that is true. This is kind of a weird one. He watched Wicked 2 days before he did it. So when this came out, everyone was like, because of the shell casings they found that said deny, depose or whatever, reference to one of those books called How the Healthcare Industry Fucks You Up. They were like, he's an epic leftist. He's a based anarchist or whatever. We got one here. Turns out that is not the case. Luigi Mangione's last quote he liked on Goodreads: unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. This is why Dyer was asking about Breloom. Yeah, his header is 3 pictures. One's a thirst trap, and I'll be honest, he looks good. He's confirmed bisexual. I'm not trying to say nothing. Second is a bunch of screws in his back, which you can probably make a guess as to why he dislikes the healthcare industry. And the third is Breloom. There's just Breloom. He's a big Breloom fan. But he's not an epic-based leftist. He's I do like the Slaughterhouse 5 quotes. Big fan. It's this type of stuff, like Ayn Rand, Infinite Jest on here as well. He's a sort of emerging political figure that's holds a bunch of weird contradictory positions. Big surprise. We're all Americans. But just got radicalized by how bad things are in some direction. And decided he was going to do something about a clearly identifiable enemy. A radical centrist, I guess. These guys are apparently called Gray Tribe. Oh, did Robert Evans tell you that? But actually not super far off. I want to be clear. I think that a lot of epic leftists are posting a picture of him talking about a Peter Thiel TED Talk that he liked, or a Joe Rogan episode he enjoyed, and they're like, this guy's not our guy. Guys, you gotta stop doing this. Here's a guy who is responding to a medical system that failed him in such a clear way that he decided to do like an act of terrorism. I don't think it's super productive to be scrolling around his likes page to see how many Jordan Peterson quotes he agrees with. But notably, he does hate Jordan Peterson. I appreciate that. This is actually the case. Every man who seriously engages with literature is subscribed to some variety of frightening, hoe-scaring political extremism. He's still clearly not a leftist regardless. That is true. Yeah, I don't want to, at the same time, I don't want to imply that he's like, this is the future of the American left. I think that he's a guy that found himself in a really bad situation and decided the thing I'm going to do about it is kill. And like, you know, that sucks. I'm sorry he found himself in that situation. But thank you for giving me something that I can quote tweet under every Basil tweet from now until the end of time. This is what Connor O'Malley would bring to the DNC. True. This is the kind of guy who would firebomb a Walmart. True. Or what do you got for me, CJ? This is so good. Dear team, in light of recent events in our industry, several employees have reached out to express concerns about safety, particularly regarding the well-being of our executive team. Oh, yeah. So many people were like, oh, are they going to be safe? We take these concerns seriously and are committed to fostering an environment where everyone feels secure and supported. To help reinforce our shared commitment to maintaining a safe and respectful workplace, we are requiring each of you to take the following pledge. Please copy the text of the pledge in the attached document and reply to this email with your name included. All employees are required to take the pledge. Safety and solidarity pledge. I, insert your name here, pledge to uphold the safety and well-being of my colleagues and the family as a whole. I commit to recognizing the health insurance industry and its vendors as an indispensable pillar of the American healthcare system, acknowledge the vital role of executives as the organization's key drivers of success and as exemplars. Pledge fealty to your exemplars, peons of leadership and professionalism, denouncing any and all forms of violence or threats against executives unequivocally and without exception. Wow. And I thought the Israel pledge they made you sign if you do business in Texas was insane. This is unbelievable. Wow. I underscore my dedication. We're just reinventing barons. We're reinventing fiefdom. We're going backwards. We're returning to feudal order. That's unbelievable. I found what radicalized him. All right, let's click this. What are we working with? No! One of my fishies got sucked into the filter. Oh, God. We're lucky he didn't shoot up a Petco. Amazon and BlackRock simultaneously posting executive protection VP roles. Damn. I think I could do this. What do you have to do? They want to pay you $170,000 a year to be Bezos' bodyguard? I know he can do better. Ugh. It's remote? I'm in. Wait, Rebecca. Rebecca's looking for remote work. Rebecca, you could be, look how much you could be making. We got another one. All right, here we go. Update on stress survey results. Recently, we conducted a survey to understand your feelings about stress at work. Many of you shared your concerns, which we deeply value and respect. As a company committed to fostering a healthy and supportive work environment, we have considered the feedback. To ensure that no one remains stressed at work, we have made the difficult decision to part ways with employees who indicated stress. Oh, man. Oh, great. That's a good point, I think. Yeah. I can't imagine why people are upset about CEOs. Truly, I can't. All right, do we want to talk about Syria? This thing I'm like totally unqualified to talk about. All right, so oh, man. this is, I guess, a scenario, a tweet I can bring up that like I can just do a sort of discussion about everything here. Basically, what had happened was individuals in Syria committed to the Free Syria movement found that Hassan Piker was going to be at the Streamer Awards, and they were like, oh, now's the time to strike. Now that he can't go live this moment, it's time to strike. Every single thing in this world happens along the clock of if Hassan has the ability to be live or not. And over the course of, I want to say, a weekend, the existing regime in Syria, which was led by Assad, has collapsed. It's crazy. The guy who led the resistance, I think, is currently in control of the government. Assad had like an astronomical number of political prisoners that they've been like freeing all weekend, and they're finding out that there's like this huge, enormous second city under the first one, built in like a tunnel system, where they were keeping people for like decades under like deplorable conditions with like no food or light, and there was all this like sexual abuse. And I'll tell you this, boy, the United States is about to make a fucking mint off this as well, because we have already been like, all right, now who are we installing? Like, it's been under 48 hours and we're like, okay, how are we going to profit off this? This is going to play out really scary for like the next couple of weeks. You know, well wishes to anyone in the area, anyone who, I hope you were able to escape the violence. But all of the usual suspects are currently pouncing, and holy, it's really frightening. It's also like really strange seeing the wedge it has driven in the like Assadist left on Twitter.com. But that's a discussion for a different channel. The French government collapsed. This one was strange. It's the French governmental system for the last like 3 months has been kind of in a state of strangeness, because the results, because Macron called a snap election, and then the first round results of the election were like weird and like favored these far right candidates, and then the second round of elections like favored these far left candidates, and then like Macron was like, I failed to like certify the results of the election. It was this whole weird, disgusting thing that culminated in this weekend, members of the far left coalition and members of the far right coalition voting for a vote of no confidence for him, which is the first time that's happened in decades, like almost 100 years. It's a tenuous situation, to be sure. And then, of course, we should talk a little bit about the collapse of the South Korean government. South Korea, man, I don't know what's going on over there. South Korea is in like free fall just as a society. It's like one of the most socially stratified societies in the history of time. Huge imbalance in the number of men and women that live there that has culminated in like the most misogynistic nation in the history of civilizations. At present, I saw this thing that was like, at present, 1 in 4 women in South Korea have had plastic surgery before the age of 30 because of the way like they're pressured to look. Kids study for like 17 hours a day. That's like unbelievable. And the government is kind of a revolving door of crooks. The most recent crook, one day, for no reason, it really was because I'm bored, decided that his party's like 10% approval rating meant that he needed to declare that the South Korean government was rife with North Korean sympathizers and spies, right? And the only option was to do martial law. So he called for martial law. He got the parliament evacuated, and then he set up like the military, but he didn't really clear it with the military first, so they went along with it. But then a bunch of the parliamentarians climbed over the barricade he had constructed and told the military, hey, we're going to just walk in and vote. And they were like, okay. And I think something like 190 people from the parliament got into the parliament, so they had quorum and voted to end the martial law. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've talked a lot of shit on libs for thinking they could vote out Hitler. I mean, I guess sometimes it works. Congratulations for voting out Hitler. So they voted to end the martial law, and of course this guy was roundly criticized and expelled, is what you would expect. Instead, what happened was he and his team came out with a thing that said he called martial law because he was lonely and just wanted some people to talk to. And then they took a vote for impeachment, and the vote to impeach him failed. So he's still the leader there? I mean, big fucking day and nothing ever happens thought. I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes nothing ever happens. Oh my God. This is the male loneliness epidemic. Oh man. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. Second vote soon. All right. I mean, we'll see. It's been a fucking week, man. It has been a hell of a week. MET, I have a regular freak for you. All right, what are we working with? Black Panther's body tee in Marvel Rivals. Clarification. This user's hobby is image manipulation to make the male characters thicker. Here is an actual screenshot of T'Challa's butt I took myself. Oh. He's got the Hank Hill ass. Oh, no. I didn't need to see that. I guess we'll move on to kind of the more gamer things of the weekend. Marvel Rivals came out. They made an Overwatch ripoff, and it's actually kind of blazing new ground in arena shooters. Many are saying that it's the first arena shooter that is fun to play. That's shocking to me. I didn't think it could be done. Maybe we will check it out on stream. I it's crazy because I have long said I'm not a big MCU guy. I think it kind of sucks in general, and I hate that it became like the dominant cultural hegemony for like a decade when the movies were so mid. But I love the comics. I was a big Marvel Comics kid growing up, and there's a lot of like deep cut characters that have become really popular as a result of Snap, and I hope this has kind of the same impact as those characters get their models ripped and put into Blender porn. Marvel Snapstream when? We did a Marvel Snapstream that was sponsored on release of the game. They paid an amount of money that I was flabbergasted by. Ben Brode fucking he landscaped my backyard that year. Thank you, Ben. I will play it any time for a fraction of that amount of money. Hit me up again, Mr. Marvel Rivals. It's fun as hell. Marvel Strap? Oh, that's a different game. Sorry. Please click. Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. Don't worry. And we'll talk a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh! But the big news this weekend is that the owner of Dragon Shield pled guilty to $2 billion of fraud and money laundering scheme. All right, so to be completely honest, as much as I want to shit talk Dragon Shields, this has nothing to do with the sleeves. It's just like the guy who owns the parent company was just stealing money. But that's a lot of money. That's an insane $2 billion? Oh my God. You would think you would launder less. I knew those sleeves weren't that popular. Oh, wow. That's insane. We'll talk a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh! And then we'll call it. So this past weekend was the YCS in Anaheim. As you can see here, the two breakout decks were unsurprisingly Ryziel and Malice, the two strategies from Crossover Breakers. This event was strange. On one hand, I'm already sick of watching Ryziel mirrors, but on the other hand, they did something really cool during the event. And that was they announced the ban list would be coming out at the end of the Top Cut. Then they released the ban list, and it was a little less good. I don't know. Not too much to be concerned about on the ban list. Marginal hits to some of the top decks. Two big things. The first, OSS banned, and the second, no hits to Dimension Shifter or any of the Floodgates. To me, this was a unique opportunity in a format that was already fine to remove a lot of chaff off the ban list, including a lot of the cards they did do, like the Dragon Rulers, but also a lot of cards like Electromite could have come off. Instead, they were like, no, Snake Eyes has gotta go. And you see right here? There's a little Snake Eye sliver. That's Paulo, by the way. That's the Paulo Goncalves, the literal winningest duelist of all time. More tops than any other human living. Only able to take it to a top 32 finish. I didn't want the ban list to hit Ryziel and Malice. I want to be clear. I think it'd be ridiculous for them to be playable for all of one weekend. Maybe we could have seen like a bonfire limit or something like this, like tangential hit relative to an archetype that's clearly going to dominate. But instead it was almost exclusively hits to decks that are weaker than it, which frustrates me a little bit because it's rotation. Because the thing that so many people told me would kill the game and would prevent them from ever investing again is happening. If you want to play at the upper echelon of competitive prowess, you have to be playing the best deck, and the best deck is going to cost 4 digits of money and be legal for 8 months. And it'll be legal every 8 months until the end of time. So I don't know. I am of two minds about it. On one hand, I do feel that maybe it was time for Tenpai and Snake Eye to exit the format. But on the other hand, why do I feel that way? It's not like they were putting up insane results. I feel that way because I have already been primed to think there's like a cycle of how long a deck is allowed to live. And at that degree, why even worry about there being rotation or not? We already have it. Ryziel is only 4 digits because of non-engine. Just not true at all. Do we have Triff's deck list? We do. $1,500 for this list, by the way. I know you're thinking about Fualas. Oh my god, Fualas, an 89-pound card, $127. But Nibiru is not expensive. Ghost Ogre is not expensive. Veiler's not expensive. Ash isn't expensive. Infip isn't expensive. I guess if you squint, you can pretend that the Fiendsmith is non-engine. That's an $87 card. Let's try the rest of them. $35 on Ext. $30 on Ice. $25 on Sword. Well, Node's only 14 cents. So these 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards are going to run you about $300-400. That's cool. How about the extra deck? $7 on Detonator, $6 on Duo Drive. Yeah, so for a playset of Diabellstar, you get the whole core. How do I talk to Americans, man? Is it an American thing to have your brain be this cucked? It's only $400. The other top deck was $600. That's not a selling point. That's not even scraps. You're looking at Gruul and you're like, damn, this is some good eats. Last week we got nothing. Oh my god. Isn't the Ryziel spell money too? Yes, Cross is money. I don't know why it says it's 19 cents. This is a $40 card. Ay, ay, ay. It's better. I mean, not really, because Diabellstar was like an engine piece, but also not really an engine piece. It was like an extender sometimes, but it got you into a different half of the deck. You know who's like that in this deck? The Fiendsmith. Playset of the Fiendsmith and a Lacrima, and the stuff in the extra deck is going to cost you $400. Cross is not 40. Maybe I'm crazy. I might actually be crazy. And if you buy this deck, you will be dropping $1,500 on this strategy. You will enjoy it for the next, 8 months. And then the next ban list will make it more in line with the rest of the metagame. The next ban list will put it at tier 2 or below status. And the ban list after, they'll ban it. They'll ban Detonator or something. And then guess what? You're going to get to do that shit again every 8 months until the end of time. Why are people stopping playing paper? I don't understand. Even during formats like the last one where the metagame is reasonably balanced and there's a lot of options to play, big hurdle to ask people to not only purchase a $1,500 deck, but do it consistently multiple times over the same year. I don't know. I mean, it is my job to play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's my job to, I here I'm just talking about Twitter freaks, but it is my job to some degree, play the card game. And it's becoming unaffordable to me. Like, I spent 4 digits on Snake Eye. Now that money's gone. You know, if I want to continue competing, I'll spend 4 digits on Ryziel. Then that money's going to be gone. It's really hard not to be like, well, the Master Duel format isn't perfect, but at least I can play it. That's Yu-Gi-Oh! Currently, not this current format. You know, it didn't used to be. Not to be all newsroom about this, but it really didn't used to be. It is like a post-COVID phenomenon that the best deck is $1,000 and has a shelf life of 8 months. It used to be that the top deck was like $350 max and never took up 50% of the metagame after Top Cut first weekend. Come on. I don't know. Necroz was like this? No. Necroz is the past analog to this. This is very similar to how Necroz was. Similar prices, similar percentage in Top Cut. Spiral with Xtrav was easily up there. But that was the Spiral with Xtrav wasn't I can't even really describe it. Xtrav Spiral was expensive for reasons that were frustrating and not even necessarily like good. I caused a buyout of Ulti Castel. Did you actually? Fuck, I was going to pick up an Ulti Castel. Oh, it's an asshole pack 7. Oh, it's gone. Whew. I can get one for 65. Is this an ulti? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. Just barely. I could be coping, but I think there are competitive budget options that format. This format, you're coping. There was a competitive budget option last format. It was 10 pi. You just had to make peace with the fact that you weren't really playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The one thing that's been kind of irritating to me is listening to people say this format will be friendlier to rogue decks than the one that just happened. I don't know how you look at the last 3 weeks of Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay in which like 8 different decks were in the top 8 and you're like, oh, this format in which 2 decks are comprising well over the majority of top cuts. And then every deck that wasn't them got hit is going to really open up new avenues for rogue strategies. It's not just peeps. It's not just peeps. I've seen it from other people too. It's if you think that this format we're currently looking at is unfriendly to rogue decks, the next format is going to be worse because the top 2 decks got stronger and everything else got weaker. I guess it's time to get good at Ryziel. I thought about being like, you know what? I'm going to Malice One Trick. I'm not going to Malice One Trick. This deck's irritating too, just for different reasons. Isn't it new toy syndrome? No, I don't think so. The only rogue deck that just got stronger is Goblin Exactly. How interesting. Gabonga Gaming. Yeah, Goblin when everyone's still playing D-Barrier. Shut the fuck up! That's the thing. Is like, you want to play a rogue deck? Oh yeah, what are you going to do? I'm going to overlay for an Xyz. No, you're not, bitch. The D-Barrier is coming. That's like one of the big misses in this ban list. Is like, man, it would have been so easy to ban that card. MBT, I am a brand new player, but I can't afford this shit. It's not fun being off meta. This sucks. What do I do? You could play. Oh, is this what Voiceless Voice is doing now? You could cut Fualas and play Voiceless Voice. $300 deck. Booed will be cheap. Man, in 3 months! We ain't get that shit until Valentine's Day.